How's it going, everybody? My name is LuckyBunz, and in today's video we're going to be going over everything you need to know for Mankey Community Day in Pokemon GO. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so first of all, this event is going to be taking place on Sunday, November 10th from 2 to 5 p.m. local time. The bonuses are going to be as follows. We're going to get increased Mankey encounters in the wild with a boosted shiny rate of 1 out of 25, 3-hour lure modules and incense. The special bonus is going to be 3 times catch experience. We're also going to be getting 2 times catch candy along with the 2 times chance to receive extra large candy from catching Pokemon if you're level 31 or higher. We're also going to be getting 2 special trades during this event along with every single trade costing 50% less Stardust, 5 free Mankey from snapshots. Basically how to do this is that you just want to take a picture of your buddy Pokemon and back out, and then the encounter is going to appear. Rinse and repeat that 4 more times. Now you can also get more encounters with Mankey by doing event-themed field research quests throughout the day. It's actually a great way to get a hundo or potentially even a shundo, as the floor IVs are going to be 10, 10, 10. The hundo CP from field research is going to be 499 CP, so look out for that one. Now, like usual during these events, we're also going to have showcases featured as well. These can actually get you some really good items in game like incubators, lucky eggs, star pieces, incense, and lure modules if you do end up placing first or second. So it's really important to hold onto all of your double extra large Mankey for the best chance at actually winning. Now, for those of you out there who aren't able to play during the original 2 to 5 p.m. play window, there's also going to be in-person only raids from 5 to 10 p.m. featuring Primate, the second stage form for Mankey. Now, after you actually beat this Primate raid, you're going to get Mankey spawning in the surrounding area for the next 30 minutes. The shiny rate for these Mankey is also going to be boosted at 1 out of 25. Now during this event, when you guys actually evolve your Mankey all the way up into Annihilape, you're going to get access to the exclusive moveset Rage Fist. The cutoff window to actually get this special move is going to be 10 p.m, so make sure to evolve it before then. I'm also going to be covering the meta relevance for Annihilape with this moveset later on in this video, so timestamps are going to be linked down below if you guys actually want to skip ahead to that section right now. Before you do that though, let's quickly go over the special evolution requirement during this event for Annihilape. Now normally you have to defeat 30 Psychic or Ghost type Pokemon in PvP while Primeape is actually your buddy. However, during this event, all you have to do is just catch 20 Fighting type Pokemon while Primeape is going to be your buddy. So basically just catching 20 Mankey, which should be super easy during this event, is all you have to get done. It would definitely be a smart idea to actually set a timer so that you guys can remember to swap out your buddy Pokemon during this event. Otherwise, it may prove to be more difficult evolving multiple Primeape into Annihilape after 5 p.m. Next up, let's go over the special research ticket that's going to be available in the in-game shop for $1. You guys usually do get enough premium items back to actually make this worth the $1, and you can also gift these to your friends if you want them to play with you during this event. It's pretty cheap all things considered, and it could make a casual player's experience a lot better. If you don't get the ticket though, you're not really missing out on that much either, so I mean, don't worry about it too much. Now we also have special event boxes that are going to be featured like normal. We're going to have one for $13.50 and one for $4.80. The $4.80 event box is going to contain 30 Ultra Balls, 1 Incense, 1 Lure Module, and 3 Super Incubators. And the one costing $13.50 Pokecoins is going to contain 50 Ultra Balls, 5 Super Incubators, 5 Lucky Eggs, and an Elite Charge TM. Now for those of you guys out there actually considering getting the $13.50 event box for that Elite Charge TM, I would definitely recommend going through the web store instead. There's actually going to be an Ultra Com Day box that's going to give you an Elite Charge TM plus a special research ticket for only $5. Now you guys can also get free Elite TMs from GBL every single season, so if you don't want to spend any money on this stuff, that's perfectly fine. That would be your next best option. Now with the event details and bonuses out of the way, let's take a look at how good Annihilape is going to be in Pokemon GO. So with the addition of Rage Fist, Annihilape has actually become a meta-relevant option in PvP once again, despite the nerfs to counter a few months ago. Now I do also want to mention right now that Annihilape is not really going to be a Pokemon you want to be using for raid battles, so don't really worry about that aspect too much. This analysis is going to be strictly focused on the PvP aspect of this Pokemon. So when we actually look at Annihilape, we can now see that it ranks within the top 50 for the Great League, Ultra League, and Master League metas. Now with that said, there are going to be 2 different IV spreads you guys want to be aiming for during this com day. The typical PvP IV spread for Great League and Ultra League, along with the hundo for the Master League. Now for those of you who are unfamiliar with typical PvP IVs, let me explain these real quick. So basically you just want to have low attack IVs and high defense and high stamina IVs, and the reason for this is because it actually allows you to level up your Pokemon the most before it hits the CP limit for the Great League or the Ultra League. There are going to be some Pokemon that are going to be exceptions to this rule because their max CP does not reach that limit, in which case you would just want to have the best IVs possible, which is typically the hundo. If you want to quickly pull up good PvP IVs for Great League and Ultra League, you guys can use this search string on screen right now. And if you want to quickly check for hundos, you guys can use the 4-star search string. Typing in 3-star will also pull up anything that's going to be between 82% IV and 98% IV, so I would recommend using this as well if you don't get any hundos. Using these search strings will definitely cut down the time it takes to find good IVs for Mankey during this com day, so honestly it's going to be a huge time saver. Now with that being said, while Annihilape is going to be meta-relevant in every single league format, Primeape, the second stage form for Mankey, is also going to get access to Rage Fist during this event as well. Combined with the other legacy moveset Karate Chop, this is actually going to be even better than Annihilape in the Great League and the Ultra League. The downside here though is that you actually have to use an Elite Fast Team to get Karate Chop on Primeape. so it won't really be accessible to most players for this reason. Still, with that being said, you should definitely hold on to a few good IV spreads for Primeape from this event. I have a strong feeling a lot of people are probably going to want to run this because Primeape is ranked within the top 5 right now in both the Open Great League and Ultra League metas with both Karate Chop and Rage Fist, making it a super meta relevant Pokemon. Now for those of you out there who have removed frustration on your Shadow Mankey during the last Team Go Rocket Takeover event, you should also consider evolving some into Primeape and Annihilape. Shadow variants do have different play in PvP compared to the regulars, and certain team builds definitely prefer the Shadows over the regulars. Although in the case of both of these Pokemon individually, they do rank slightly lower than their regular counterparts. So if you don't actually have Shadow Mankey with frustration removed, I mean, don't worry about it too much, but if you do, definitely make sure to evolve some into Annihilape as well as Primeape. So basically, in short, you want to get a good IV spread for the Great League, Ultra League, and Master League for Annihilape, and then when it comes down to Primeape, you want to focus on getting a good Great League and Ultra League spread, although specifically for the Ultra League, you want to go with the 7-15-15 IV spread, because it barely hits that 2500 CP limit. So with the meta relevance out of the way, we can now focus on the event tips and tricks I want to go over to help you guys get the most out of this event. So obviously throughout the day you're going to be catching tons of Mankey, and ideally you should be marking the good ones in a search tag. That way you can quickly find them in order to evolve them into Primeape or Annihilape. Now because Annihilape actually has an evolution requirement focused on catching during this event, you should also constantly be switching out your Mankey with good IVs in order to actually fulfill that requirement. Otherwise it's going to be pretty difficult to get them all at the end, right? So after the event, you can go through and check the IV rankings on a website like Go Stadium in order to actually see how well that specific spread ranks. I'm going to leave a link to their IV checker in the description down below. Next up, let's talk about the fast catch trick though. If you've ever wondered how some players catch so many Pokemon during this event, you definitely want to familiarize yourself with this. Normally it takes about 18 seconds to catch a Pokemon through the full animation, but with this trick you can actually do it in roughly 5 seconds. Once again, I'll have a tutorial linked in the description down below, make sure to check that out. Next up, let's take a look at the special bonus for this event, which is going to be 3 times catch experience, which means that this will be one of the best times to actually grind for experience in the game. Whether you're pushing for level 40, 50, or even in the anticipation of level 60, you really want to be focusing on landing as many excellent throws as possible on Mankey. Every successful excellent throw is going to award you 3,000 experience, and if you actually have Lucky Egg active, it's going to be 6,000 experience. Now one strategy I would strongly recommend using is going to be to use Nana Berries, especially if Mankey's going to be attacking you quite often. This is going to stop Mankey from attacking you completely, so you can pretty much just focus entirely on landing that excellent throw. Now you can also go for consistent great throws if you want to, but honestly the experience gains are going to be reduced significantly. So sometimes when it comes to a Pokemon that you're not really that familiar with, I would take like the first half hour, maybe even like the first 20 minutes to adjust yourself to its throwing pattern, and then once you feel more confident with your throws, that's when you can drop your first Lucky Egg to really maximize those experience gains. For those of you guys that are free to play out there, I would strongly recommend only using your Lucky Eggs when you're ready to lock in and grind for those next 30 minutes. I do understand that some players just drop like 6 Lucky Eggs right at the start of the event, and that's definitely one way to do it, but I also feel like it's kind of wasteful because throughout the day, guys, you're most likely going to take some breaks. So would you rather just kind of drop a Lucky Egg for 30 minutes, grind really hard, and then take a break and then drop another Lucky Egg after that? Instead of actually using 6 Lucky Eggs, you would probably use something more like 4. I find this to be a lot more efficient, but again, it's totally up to you at the end of the day, depending on your playstyle. I also want to mention, if you have any field research Pokemon stacked, you can also catch these during the downtimes as well when you don't have any Mankey spawns around you. It's a great way to continue getting the most out of your Lucky Egg without kind of wasting time. Now, instants during this event are also going to be lasting for 3 hours long, which means you guys should be getting spawns about every 30 seconds if you're walking at a decent pace. Additionally, if you actually want to grind out the featured event spawns after Mankey Com Day, which is going to be for the Harvest Festival, you can stack multiple instants during the event window, which is going to be in increments of 3 hours. You can stack up to 24 hours if you wanted to, which would be about 8 instants instead of 24, so that's going to be like a huge time save. Now finally, since this event is going to be focused on experience and you're probably going to have Lucky Eggs active anyways, I would also strongly encourage you guys to claim any friendship experience or special research experience if you have some in order to actually maximize that Lucky Egg. Thanks to the current seasonal bonus, we actually have 1.5 times friendship experience right now, which means you can actually get 300,000 experience for hitting best friends with someone while on a Lucky Egg. Now for those of you guys that actually have access to the Adventure Effect Spatial Rend on Palkia Origin form, you might also be wondering if it's actually worth using this during this event. For those of you who are unfamiliar, this will basically increase your spawn radius in 10-minute increments at the cost of 5 Palkia Candy and 5,000 Stardust. So on one hand, you don't really need to use this because Mankey is going to be spawning everywhere and you should be able to collect enough resources through these spawns alone if you hunt efficiently. But on the other hand, if you're actually trying to farm as much experience as possible with Lucky Eggs, this is going to increase the amount of Pokemon you do encounter, which means less time without actually having spawns around you and more experience. Now for those of you out there who aren't really sure where to play during events like this, I would strongly recommend Pokestop dense areas and or cluster spawns. These typically include parking lots, grocery stores, shopping malls, and college campuses, If you have anything like that around you, that's probably going to be your best bet. During this event, lure modules are also going to be lasting for 3 hours long, just like incense, so this means you guys can actually make some great progress on your picnicker medal by dropping lure modules at a popular grind spot right when the event starts. Basically, the way that this works is that you get 1 point every single time somebody else catches a Pokemon off your lure module. Now with that being said, I also want to go over the Pokemon Ranger medal for research tasks, so typically these are pretty easy to get done during calm days, but it's also just as easy to actually forget about them during the event. So if you're actually someone who easily forgets, I would strongly encourage you guys to set a timer on your phone to check them about every 5 to 10 minutes, especially if you're going to be playing around a lot of Pokestops. Remember, these quests are going to become available when the event starts at 2 p.m, so make sure not to spend any Pokestops until then. Also, if you get any Pokemon encounter rewards, you can run away from these and stack them up to 100 in your field research stack. This could come in handy during the downtimes when you actually have no spawns, as I mentioned earlier, for the experience gains. Next up, let's go over some storage management tips. So generally, I would recommend having a minimum of 100 open spots and ideally 250 plus. If you guys are still having trouble making space, then I would strongly recommend checking out my Ultimate Storage Management Guide, which was updated about a few months ago. That video has received a lot of positive feedback, so if you are struggling, I strongly recommend checking that out. Now when it comes down to bag management, I would recommend having a combination of about 150 to 200 red, grade, and ultra balls, and ideally 500 plus to go into this event. The more Pokeballs you guys have available, the less you need to worry about spending Pokestops throughout the event, and the more you can focus on catching Pokemon. Now for those of you guys out there who have limited time to play during this event, I would also recommend anywhere from 25 to 50 Pineapple Berries to help you get the candy even faster. For most players who have the full 3 hours, like this isn't going to be an issue, you don't have to really use Pineapple Berries, but if you only have like 30 minutes to play, having all those Pineapple Berries is going to really help you out. Now also leading up to this event, I would recommend opening your daily 30 gifts in order to actually get more items. This is definitely going to be a great way to get more Pokeballs without actually having to spend Pokestops. Also, if you tap the X button super quickly, you can skip the entire animation, which saves you a lot of time when you're opening your daily 30. Next up, let's go over the best Mega Evolution you guys want to have active during this event for candy bonuses. So Mankey's going to be a pure fighting type Pokemon, which means as far as your options goes, these include Mega Heracross, Mega Blaziken, Mega Medicham, Mega Lopunny, and Mega Lucario. If you have any of these Pokemon at Mega Level 3, prioritize that one over the others for increased candy and extra large candy. Now finally, during this event, every single trade is going to cost 50% less Stardust compared to normal. We're also going to have the seasonal bonus of guaranteed extra large candy from trading Pokemon if you're level 31 or higher. So if you're actually unable to get the hundo or enough extra large candy during this event, I would strongly encourage you guys to mirror trade your Mankey with another player. You also have a chance of getting a lucky Mankey, which is going to cost 50% less Stardust to power up. Not to mention, if that Pokemon ends up going lucky, you have a 1 out of 64 chance of rolling a hundo this way, so pretty good odds. Anyways, that's basically everything that I have for you guys in this one. If you want to check out some more content, I'm going to recommend these 2 videos right here. But before you go, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you all real soon in the next one.